What's up guys, Nautical here. Just wanted to bring you my deck list for the San Angelo Case Tournament. It's actually the first ever event that I was able to top. I got 7th in top 8 and I played a bunch of meta, and so I feel like this deck did pretty well against meta. This is kind of considered maybe a tier 2 rogue-ish deck. So I played a bunch of Sword Soul, I played Bird Up, I lost to Sword Soul exclusively. I think out of the 7 rounds we played, I played 6 Sword Soul players. Actually no, I played 5 Sword Soul players. I played a pure LiveTwin guy, which was super awesome to see LiveTwins getting more representation. Then I played Bird Up. So this deck fared pretty well. I did misplay a couple times. That might have won me a couple more games, but hey, you live and you learn. It was only my 2nd full event ever, so that was really cool. But yeah, on to the deck list. So what you're going to see right here is pretty standard for LiveTwin. I do add a little bit of my own spice. I was talking to the other LiveTwin guy there, and we both kind of agreed that because it's such a small, compact engine, that this deck is really based on what the pilot enjoys playing with. So he was playing pure, which included a bunch of hand traps and a bunch of ways to stop hand traps. Mine is a little bit different, and you'll see that in the deck profile. So first of all, we got the pretty standard 3 Kiss a Kill, 3 Lilla, and then I play 1 Frost and 1 Treat. These are just your 1 card starters. These will special summon the other from the deck, and then these are kind of your extenders or your special summon. Most of the time, if I'm starting off with blue, I will just go ahead and special summon Frost, just because her effect in graveyard when you control an evil twin is to get a draw if they add something. So that's just super strong to do on their turn. And then Treat has kind of a battle case where if I take damage with the battle controlling an evil twin, then I can target 1 monster on the field and make it lose attack equal to the battle damage that I took. So it comes up occasionally, but most of the time if I have pink in hand, I'm just going to summon a normal blue, just so that way I have the extender in deck. That way if I draw and they stop the summon, then I can still at least extend with blue. So that's it for those. And then I am playing one of the evil twin Kiss a Kill and Lilla. This card is a brick. I really don't want to see it. The only reason that it stays is it comes up for in cases when you have Trouble Sunny in the grave. It gets you a free send. So if they completely blow up your board and you don't even have Trouble Sunny on board, it's fine because you can still banish Trouble Sunny, send this from deck, and you still get a non-targeting send, which if they Zeus your board, if that's the only thing they end on is a Zeus, then you just get a free way to blow up the Zeus and then you're fine. Next, I play the Dogmatica package in mind. So I play 1 Ecclesia and 1 Fleur. Deck space is really tight in the way that I play this deck, so I just thought 1 and 1 was perfectly fine. Even if I draw Ecclesia, it's super fine. The only time that it sucks playing just 2 is when I draw Nadir Servant and Ecclesia and Fleur in hand, and that came up a couple of times in the tournament, but there are ways to kind of get around that, so it's not too bad. But Dogmatica package is just really strong, getting either Punishment or Fleur, and then just having the effect negation is super strong. And yeah, it's just a nice way to control the board. And then I am playing the Scythe package. I hate this card. I hate Winda, which you'll see, and I hate Imperial Order. But they're the best floodgates right now, and I think if you're not playing the best floodgates, you're kind of trolling in the meta. So as much as I hate this card, you gotta play it. I really hope that either Dagda or this gets hit. Next, for the hand traps, playing 3 Droll, 3 Lancia. These are kind of my flex spots. I just think these are the best cards in the meta right now. This specific lineup of hand traps really hurts Bird Up. There was a instance where I played the Bird Up player and I drolled on his Recital Starling, and so he had to just settle into going into Utopic Draco Future, and I play a Kaiju in the side deck that I thankfully drew, so I just Kaiju'd his Utopic Future and then did LiveTwin plays and was able to OTK from there, which was super nice. And then this also prevents banishing. The Tenny stuff and Sword Soul likes to banish, Chickshao has to banish, Bird Up likes to banish as well, so I just think this is really strong. Again, these are just kind of what I felt like is strong, but these are definitely subject to change. I think I had Ash in here before the tournament, and I did some playtesting with some buddies, and they suggested putting Droll in instead, and it really won me a couple games, which was super nice. Next, the spells and traps. You got your 3 secret password. This searches your Sunny Snitch and your Home. I used to think Home was bad, but it's the only way that you can effectively get into the Dagda combo with this deck, so this card is kind of needed, and it has come up in very few situations where they've stopped everything and I've just had this in hand to extend even further. But basically you're playing, I think I counted it out, you're playing about 15 copies of your small twins or some ways to get to your small twins in order to go for your combo, which is super nice. And then next, you gotta have it, the 3 Nadir Servant. Honestly, just an insane card. Basically, you do your entire Evil Twin combo, and then you just drop Nadir Servant, send whatever, grab your Ecclesia, special summon it, and then depending on the game state and what you have in hand or on board, you can either go for the punishment, or if you think you'll be able to live without popping 2, then you'll grab the Fleur de Lis for the extra negate. So, but super nice, helps set up your window plays, and yeah, it's pretty solid card, next, 3 Chalice. I don't have droplets. These would probably be droplets. Either that or a different card. I'll show you a little bit later. But I mean, it's just a good card. Just targeted effect negation is super nice. Doing this on their, you know, Forbidden Chalicing their Baron, so it's either forcing out the negate or they get the 400 attack points. Forcing out any type of negation is super nice. You can just bait it out and then you can go into your plays. This deck is really susceptible to effect negation and disruption, so playing as many ways to get around your opponent's disruptions as you can is super nice. And then the 1/, Called by the Grave. Again, this deck is really susceptible to disruptions, so Called by just, you know, lets you get past one of those if you have it in hand. It doesn't come up very often, but it is what it is. Next, playing 3 Strike. This is my other thought process for if I got droplets, I might take this out just because droplets is better going first and second. It could effectively do the same thing, but Solemn Strike for what I have is really good, especially going first. I just set Solemn Strike, and I can save my disruption from my Trouble Sunny or my Dogmatic Punishment for this, and you know, hit them where they might not expect it, and then you just destroy it, and then you're chilling. So that's a good way to do it as well. And then, of course, you got to play the 3 Imperm, probably best hand trap. Just targeted effect negation, and you activate it from hand. It's just super insane. It's good going first or second. And then I am playing 1 Punishment. I don't feel like, again, deck space is super tight with this deck, so I think that 1 Punishment is fine for me. I'm honestly not really trying to activate this card if I don't have to. It's more of as a, if this is what I search off Ecclesia, I want to set it and then not activate it if I don't need to. So if I have it set back here, then they know that at least one of my set cards is punishment. Maybe that baits it to getting destroyed, and then it's fine. If I activate this, the only reason I don't like to activate it is because it locks me out of the extra deck next turn, which prevents me from being able to OTK very consistently. But I mean, if push comes to shove and I need a pop 2, then it's a guaranteed pop 2, which is super nice. But again, I don't want to activate it if I don't have to. And then again, Imperial Order needs to be banned, but if you're not playing it, you're kind of trolling. It just shuts off 1/3 of the cards in the game, and you're chilling. And then the last one, Shaddoll Schism. This is a new edition, playing the Window package, I know. Floodgates galore, whatever. You can call it LiveTwin Floodgate or whatever, but again, if you're not playing ways to effectively stop your opponent from playing the game, then you're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2022, unfortunately. Next, we'll go on to the extra deck. So, I'm playing the 2 Trouble Sunny. Best card in the deck, actually insane. Tribute itself as cost, so it's very hard to negate its effect. Tribute itself as cost. Special summon 1 Lilla and Kiss the Kill. They don't have to be the links. A lot of people don't know that. That rarely ever comes up, but it still does come up in some cases where they try to like call by a link and negate the summon, but it doesn't matter, and they also don't target. And then both the twins will get their effects. If it's in the graveyard, you can send an Evil Twin from hand, deck, or face-up field to the grave, and then non-targeting send a card, which is so incredibly strong. And because we're playing the big one, the Evil Twin, Lilla, and Kiss the Kill in deck, it means we always have a live send no matter what, which is actually insane. But yeah, just super strong card. I'm only playing 2. Again, extra deck space is pretty tight in this deck, but it's just so good, and I really hope we get more. I hope we get the big and the little one in here. I hope we get them as links or maybe main deck monsters at some point. That would be super cool. But yeah, it's just an insane card. Makes the deck so good. I am playing the 1 Access Code. It just is your game winner. It's very easy to get into this and Trouble Sunny on my turn 3 play under 5 summons with, I think I calculated out, it's effectively like 10.2k on board or something like that. It's ridiculous. But yeah, maybe I'll show you a combo video in another video. But yeah, playing One Nightmare Unicorn. It's a free spin back, and it's very easy to co-link in this deck, and it's also your way to get into access code. So these are kind of my package deal of access code. And again, get into it under 5 summons, and you're straight chilling. You're blowing up their board. Next, I'm playing 2 Kiss a Kill and 2 Lilla. Most players will play 3 of these, but again, extra deck space is pretty tight here. And also, this deck, this version is able to OTK very quickly out of nowhere. So I don't really need the 3rd one. I rarely ever even go into the 2nd one unless like some crazy disruption happens. But even then, I'm only ever making it to the first 2 copies, and then I'm OTKing that next turn. So I don't really think 3 is necessary for my deck, but yeah, I mean, I understand why people played it too. And then of course you got the Dagda. Again, this card needs to get hit, either this or Scythe, but this is basically your free Scythe. And the best thing about this card is that because you're playing Scythe in the main, if you draw Scythe, you don't even have to go on this. You just make yourself less susceptible to being stopped. So this is kind of a weird choke point for the deck that if I go into this, it just makes it me even more likely to die to Nibiru, or if they in-perm this, then it really kind of sucks, and I've wasted a bunch of resources, but hey, honestly, Scythe is worth it. So, and then I am playing one Almirage. In my own words, if your deck can't turbo out Almirage, then it's a bad deck. This is basically just to link off a small twin if I don't have an extender, and that way my Dogmatica plays are live, but I don't want to make this if I don't have to, but I find myself making this so many times, so I figured I might as well get the secret rare version of it. But Almirage is Almirage. It's just your link one. Next, the Nadir stuff. You got your App Clone, you got your Winda, and you got your Entis. This is almost always your send-off in Nadir, just so that way you can add Schism. This is what you're summoning off of Schism. Again, it's a floodgate, and it forces some type of interaction. They either have to waste an effect negation on it, they have to droplets it, or they have to do something. So it basically forces them to interact, or they don't get to play the game. Same thing with Scythe as well. Scythe also forces them to do stuff. If my LiveTwin stuff can go unchecked and they're having to deal with the rest of the stuff, that means I can just do LiveTwin plays, and it's way more effective in the long run than just doing LiveTwin stuff. This deck is, its sole identity for me personally is to going first, make a board, and prevent my opponent from playing on their turn. And then if I can prevent them from playing on their turn, I have enough ways to blow up their board, whatever they were able to play, to OTK them effectively under Nibiru in turn 3. So that's kind of the thought process I went by my deck. And then this is pretty much always your punishment target. And then lastly, the Sky Cavalry Zeus package. Shout out to the twins being level 2. Sky Cavalry is insane. It bounces something back. Can't be destroyed with battle while it has Xyz material, and then you just overlay for Zeus, and then detach, boom, you're golden. This comes up in... a lot of times this is more as like a bait. What I'll do is I will summon, if I have the ability to get another twin on board, I'll summon like Kiss a Kill, activate effect, special another one, overlay them into this, and at this point, if they don't deal with this, then they're forced to deal with the Zeus. But if they do deal with this, then that's fine. I have an extender in hand to go into LiveTwin stuff, and I'm less likely to be hit there. So this is more of a bait. It does come up, but Zeus is just a threatening card, so they have to deal with it in some capacity. That's it for the extra deck. Again, pretty interesting build that I'm going with, but I really have enjoyed it. It has a lot of interaction. It's a lot of back and forth with you and your opponent, and it reminds me of playing like old school Yu-Gi-Oh, which I really enjoy, except for the floodgate stuff. If I get floodgates and stuff, I feel like I'm playing new school Yu-Gi-Oh, and I feel bad for my opponent, but hey, I'm trying to win games out here. Now for the side deck, 3 Nib. Pretty standard. There's a lot of combo going around. A lot of things are susceptible to Nibiru. And also, it's just a nice top deck off of Frost. Shout out to the Animancipator player that I played at Locals the other day. Banish Frost, Nibiru off the top, Nibiru'd him on his 5th summon, and it was kind of GG's from there, but hey, it's pretty good. And then the one Godarla, I was playing 2 Kaiju in here, but side deck space is tight as well, and there's not a lot of stuff I like to side out if I don't have to. But Godarla is super huge. You know, there's a bunch of big unaffected monsters right now, or like DPE, or Utopic Jericho Future. It came up in that game as well, where you just, you know, you give them the Kaiju, or you Kaiju their Baron, and then it's very easy to pop during your LiveTwin combos. So it's just super nice. Kaijus are really great. Next, back row hate, 2 Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Harpies. Back row is kind of, I don't play against a bunch of back row decks, but it's just nice to have for just posterity's sake. Being able to banish like virtual world stuff, or if I'm playing Eldritch, or there's a lot of big power trap cards that you can force out by just playing these 2. Tri-Brigade Revolt, for instance, if you Harpies or Cosmic and standby, they're forced to have to activate it, and then they don't get the send with Shurag, so it's good to just bait out stuff. And then this was actually the tournament tech, 3D barriers. I wasn't playing this card on the side, but I figured that I would probably be going up against a lot of Sword Soul at the case tournament, and I ended up playing, I think, 6 overall matches, or 5 overall matches of Sword Soul. So this came out huge. Would just declare Call Synchro, and then they would end on a Sword Soul monster, a token, and then like maybe like Monk or something, and they would have to pass because that was the only thing that they had. So this was effective floodgate for them. Next, 3-Villainy match. This card just blows out decks for absolutely no reason. This card's insane. It's one of the best cards in the game right now, I think, and it's just, you know, your opponent sets this big old board, and if they don't have a way to deal with this, they just have to banish everything except 1, and then, you know, you're able to pop whatever they keep with Trouble Sunny. So it's just basically free. And then lastly, the 2 anti-spell. I normally side these in going first with the Imperial Order, so I have 3 ways to shut off spell cards. But yeah, that's the deck. Pretty interesting. Was able to have a really good chat with the other LiveTwin player that was at the event, and we kind of talked about the reason why we made our deck decisions and stuff like that, and why we played certain cards and why we didn't play other cards. But again, I really enjoy the LiveTwin Evil Twin engine. It's again, it's very similar to like something like Tri-Brigade, where the core of the deck is so very small that you can play a bunch of supplementary engines, similar to the way Invoked is, similar to the way Dogmatica is. When your deck core is so small, it just allows you to have more liberties as a player depending on what you like to play, and I really enjoyed this version so far. When, of course, all the floodgates get hit, maybe I'll transition my LiveTwin deck to a different deck. But for right now, again, if you're not playing the floodgates, you're kind of trolling. But that was my topping LiveTwin, Evil Twin, Dogmatica, good stuff deck list. And stay tuned for the channel. I'll put a combo video out. And thanks for coming out to the channel. I really appreciate it.